Hey guys, so I'm back with you and showing you how to, using a Google Sheet now to track some information like a record or a health services input intake output chart can also be useful. And advantages perhaps using a Google Sheet versus a table on a Google Doc. So if you go and open up a Google Sheet, like the following, okay, you notice that it's organized similar to a table in that it has columns and it has rows, okay, but it has kind of an infinite amount of them for you to utilize. Notice that each of the columns are labeled with a letter, and each of the rows are labeled with a number. Each one of these cells, the intersection between a column and a row, okay, has a specific address or a name, and that name is the column and the row. So C4 is what this cell would be called. All right, this cell would be called F10. Notice how it's kind of selected so you can kind of see where it comes from. This would be D14 and so forth. You have several options here with the sheet, just like you did with the doc. Okay, I usually start on B2 when I'm inputting information. Okay, it allows me to not be crammed up against the headings, especially if I have to add a row or add a column. I just like that there's a little bit of space over here. Not necessary, but that's how I do it. All right, so it's just like in a table. Okay, we have a heading usually, and I can select cells and merge them. So the last one we had 10 columns. So if I count out 10 columns like that, I can merge them. Now right-clicking, there isn't an option for merge, but up here there's a button, two little arrows coming together, merge cells. So I click that button, and then I have my heading space. Here, call from my doc, I have some subheadings here that I wanted. So I selected 5 blank and merge them in 5 blank here. And some more. And then down 20, down the 20, okay. Let's see here. So from the beginning, just copying what I did on the Google Doc. From the beginning, I had 20 rows. So starting at 2, then I'm going to go down to 22. And I'm going to select 5 here. These are going to be where my totals, in the case of an intake output chart, would go. And so I had total down here, total, and so forth. Now I'm just going to show you the end result of after I type in the units, what it's going to look like. After I type in the descriptions of each cell and heading, what it will look like. Like this. Now, how did I get all these borders and things like that? Well, when you click, remember I merged these cells. When I click on this cell here, okay, if I go up to the button with the square and the cross in it, okay, it says borders. So I can kind of customize how I want, what edges I want to be bolded. Okay, I can play with it until I get it to look like this. As an alternative, if you do have something on a Google Doc and table already, you can actually just copy and paste it onto the spreadsheet. Okay, so I could just go from here and just copy this whole thing. Control C, and go to a blank sheet. Go to B2 and Control V, and it copies it all for me, and the borders are already formatted. Okay, so it looks like this. Sorry, I should do that one more time. Control V, paste it, and it already looks like all this. Now, one advantage of using a sheet instead of a Google Doc, okay, is that you can copy information down a column easier, or really copy information across a row. For example, if on this chart, this particular patient had lots of juice and water, things that they drank orally, right? So the method of administration was orally, right? And I put down, like, say, grape juice. Let's say they did like 90 cc's. Okay, but then I didn't want to keep on writing oral, because then they had like water, like 120 cc's. They had all sorts of stuff. I don't want to have to keep on writing oral. Okay, an easy way to copy, okay, is to select the cell, And where this little blue corner is in the bottom right-hand corner, you can click that and drag it down as far as you want to copy. So again, I selected the cell. I directed my cursor to the lower right-hand corner when it turned into a plus sign. Select or click, and then go down, drag until I want to finish copy. Okay, so that's one advantage using a Google Sheet. The other main advantage really is it does math for you. Okay, so if you're having, for instance, in the health services field, if you're actually filling this out on a computer instead of on a piece of paper, all right, it's probably just as well to do a Google Sheet, because you can type in a formula down here which will automatically calculate the total for you. All right, the way you want to do that, first of all, I'm actually going to unmerge these cells, and it's easy. Just select it, click the same button to unmerge them, because I want to have a heading of total, but then I actually need to have its own separate cell for calculation of the whatever I'm trying to do. In this case, I'm trying to add up everything. Okay, an equal sign. The equal sign tells Excel that, hey, I'm not going to type in some numbers. I'm not going to type in stuff I want you to display. I'm going to type in a formula that I want you to calculate. Okay, I want you to do math, in other words. So I put equal sign, and then I could select each cell and then push the plus button. Keep on doing that. Okay. And then I could push enter, and it would add up everything in those cells. Okay, but that's a lot of pluses and clicks. Right. A quicker formula to add up a bunch of cells is to use the term sum. Okay, sum means to add. And then I can push parentheses, and then I can select a whole slew of cells that I want it to add all at once. Okay, and then end parentheses. And I can click enter, and it'll add everything that's in those cells to begin with. Okay, powerful, powerful tool of Excel as it does formulas, it does math for you. And it doesn't matter if this changes, okay, it'll update the cell automatically. So I guess I should put, that didn't change how much water you had. Let's say later on in the day, you had some orange juice, right? It'll automatically update my total as I continue to input it. Okay. So that's just a couple of advantages of Excel. You can copy things down. You can also have it do math for you. One word of caution with copying: if you have a date and you try to copy the date down, it'll actually, Excel is kind of trying to anticipate what you want. And it thinks that you want to count by 1 for each date. All right. Now, to kind of stop it from doing that and still use the copy feature, I can type in 2 of the same date. Say all this stuff happened in the same day, right? Then I can select both of them, and then I can go to the right-hand corner, drag, and copy down. Okay, kind of to tell Excel, I don't want you to add, I just want you to copy what those cells. Okay, so again, 2 advantages to using an Excel or a Google Sheet instead of a Google Doc. Both can be used though to track a record. In this specific example, an intake output for health services. Okay. And you can do some fancy formatting and eventually end up with something that looks real neat and clean. If you want to each, for the example here, this was for 1 day. I just grayed out the things that were not used for that day, and see how it totaled everything for me. It gives me a good picture of that particular patient's intake and output. That's all.